The float was unlike anything I had ever experienced. I went into the tank with quite a lot on my mind, and I came out of the tank really just feeling completely relaxed, and so many of the things on my mind had just, actually I noticed that they were still there. A lot of the things that I had been thinking about over and over again before and kind of dwelling upon, they were still there, but I was so much more relaxed about them. And my whole experience inside the tank, the thoughts just kind of left, and I just felt very just complete. I don't know if words can even describe what I felt, but I would have to say the best word to describe it would be just complete bliss, really. And it was very different for me because I've experienced many different forms of meditation before, but this was unlike anything I'd ever experienced because, one, it was in water and I was completely weightless. I couldn't see anything. All my senses were cut off. And that is something you never experience while meditating. You try to avoid the noise that's out there, but there's always something. And in there was just complete silence. It was just very, very peaceful and just wonderful and relaxing. And I would really recommend it to anyone feeling any apprehension about anything or just worrying about anything. Your feelings your mind just gets let loose and you just let everything go. And I found that I was really, right after the tank, I was really very present-minded, which is so hard for me to achieve. I've been trying to achieve just living presently as much as I can, and I feel that I achieved it right when I got out of the tank. And so it was a wonderful experience.
My name is J.R. Osbourne. I'd like to thank you for this opportunity also to share my thoughts and experiences with the Deep Haven flotation tank. I don't know, to think of what it's like to be in the tank is, I guess, what I'll start with. Is kind of what it's like to be in the tank, and then what it gives you afterwards. And when you first get in the tank, there's kind of a series of levels, at least for me, that I kind of go through. You get all set, you slide into the tank, and you feel yourself in the water, and you feel your back pops a little bit. And for me, there's kind of this shiver that runs through my entire body, and I kind of get to this, you just feel the relaxation kind of wash over you. And you kind of sit there and kind of feel very nice for a while. And then you kind of, after, I don't know, about half an hour or so, you drop to the next level. And then after that, your body completely relaxes. When you're first in there, you still are kind of aware. You feel your fingers popping, you kind of stretch your arms, you let your muscles kind of go. And then the second level, you drop down and it feels that, another wave washes over you, and then you're even more relaxed. You're just lying there in your body, and your mind starts to kind of unfold. So if the first one kind of unfolds your muscles, then your mind begins, you see, your imagination kind of lets go, and you have your colors come, and you kind of listen to the voices in your head kind of run themselves out. When you first go in, you're kind of sitting there, you feel relaxation, and then your mind starts to think, well, what am I doing now? Here I am, it's dark, nothing really to see, nothing really to do, kind of hear the water, kind of know I'm around. And your mind just kind of circles through all the thoughts, and then you start thinking about the things in your life, and it circles through these thoughts, and it goes through everything you've kind of built up. And it goes on that for maybe half an hour or so, and then finally, you keep circling and circling, and your mind realizes it runs out of things to think about. And then I think you kind of, at least for me, you kind of drop yet again. And then all of a sudden there's this feeling of kind of your mind, when I say drop, it's really sinking, that it comes to a point where it leaves your body. And there's this kind of this, I remember the first time I floated, I kind of got to this place, and my mind all of a sudden ended up, there's just kind of this realm, it was almost like that, these kind of scattered misty islands that you could kind of approach. It's very much like a video game to some extent, that you kind of approach and zoom in on and look at this and that. And it was not, it is not even necessarily, I wouldn't say it was completely in my mind. It was the fact that all of a sudden you realize that where I was, that my my body kind of lying in the tank is kind of, it's many, for lack of anything better to say, many different places at the same time. It's in that tank, and it's also, in connection somehow with this other realm, I'll say. And then you sit there and you can move around this, and you enjoy that for as long as you can either handle it or as long as you want to. And eventually you get out. And then once you're out of the tank, it continues to affect you. I know every time I float, when I first emerge from the tank, there's this absolute fascination with the fact that I do have a body. That I watch you watch your fingers, and how a thought in your brain can make your first finger move. Another thought can make your pinky move, make your thumb move. And it's something that we usually don't consider, the fact that how amazing or how miraculous it is that you can do such fascinating and such a range of things within your body. And it is kind of it's a twitch of the mind. And so then it goes from that, and then you kind of begin to really feel home again in your body. When I go off, and I get this kind of rush of energy. I know often when I'm leaving the tank, I feel like I want to just go run around to fully experience what it is again, to be able to control this wonderful machine of our bodies. And but as you're doing this, you're still aware of kind of this other deeper level that I was saying, that you are kind of, that many things are going on at the same time, and that all the thoughts that you are having and all the running around in your body really is kind of this running around of the mind, this hurrying that I talked about a few minutes ago. And beneath that, there is kind of this, this deeper, I don't know if I want to say deeper peace. It is much more peaceful, but this more expansive state, that you realize that the possibilities in which you can move are, they're infinite. They're much extended. You can run around here. You can go off into another place in your mind through the tank. You kind of get lost or discover your own imaginations, and just kind of the awareness of knowing this kind of the wealth or the full range of options which you can engage with is extremely beneficial. Aside from that, I don't know. It makes you more, as I said, in tune with your body, much more relaxed. You can, to go back when I say when you first get into the tank, you kind of lay down and you kind of immediately know what you need to do with your body. You feel that you have a kind of a knot in your back, and you're aware of that, and you kind of stretch it out, and the tank helps you to kind of, maybe it makes you, sometimes there's a bit of a popping as your joints and bones get back in, but then you remain aware of this afterwards as well, that that it's my back needs to have some work, or the fact that every time you go into the tank, if your elbows or shoulders are very tense, then these are things that you leave becoming more aware of the fact that these are kind of the places where that you might have to stretch, that kind of limit the fact that you can move in all these different directions.